Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today's a really exciting day. I'm here with Hassan Al-Rashid, Yanis Kalashi, and Lais Kalashi, who have just done a documentary assignment, film documentary assignment for their language and literature teacher in grade 9. And they have covered some extremely deep themes that I'm here to talk to them about today. Hassan, what was the name of your documentary?
Old versus New Education.
Old versus New Education. And in this film, what were you hoping to uncover?
I was hoping to ask my try to get from different genes from, for example, when my old grandfather was in school, what was it like back then, and how it's also different from my dad's time when he was in school, and then my cousin. So it's like from all different timings. And I was just trying to understand what they used to live like, and how did they go to school, and just their routines.
So you were studying old versus new education and the change over time, basically.
Yeah.
So what did you uncover?
I uncovered that before there were more punishments than now. Before they can punish their students by, for example, hitting them with a ruler or something like that, abuse to them. But now it's not allowed in school, so it's banned right now. And then also I uncovered how many what they were going through back then in school. For example, what timings do they wake up in school, what subjects did they have, what was their hardest year, and what were their biggest fears in school.
Very interesting. I love it. And so if people watch your film, what are they going to walk away with? What's a new understanding that they might come away with?
They might understand how difficult it was back then to learn than now, because now it's mostly online, and people can study easier than back then when they didn't have technology, and they weren't they didn't have the ability to do all the work at home, because they were only working on paper. And yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to come back to you with this question, but I'm going to ask it to you now and then give you some time to think about it while I talk to the others. Okay? So what I would like you to think about is, what are the challenges today? You mentioned some of the challenges in the past, but what are some of the challenges facing your generation today? You're going to be graduating in a few years. You might have some friends or siblings or cousins who are graduating. What are the challenges in education today? I'll come back to you with that. Think about that answer. Yanis?
Yes.
Lise, you did a documentary called Qatar Horse Palace.
Yeah.
So first tell me, what inspired you to film this documentary?
So the documentary is about Al-Shaqab, and I got inspired because I've been there for 5 years, and I wanted to show people what it's like to be there, how different it is to other places in the world.
And so when your teacher gave you this assignment, what connected you to Al-Shaqab? What part of the assignment were I can uncover this through filming Al-Shaqab?
So for the part of the project was we had to connect our documentary to a United Nations goal. So I don't remember the exact category of the goal, but it was something about enhancing the culture of a country. And since Qatar has a lot of horse culture here, I wanted to relate it to that.
Beautiful. I think it's sustainable cities and communities, and part of it is enhancing the culture, so you don't lose the culture and language. So I love that you tied it to the sustainable developmental goals. So through the journey, what was your original idea? What I'm asking is, you must have had an idea that you hoped your viewers would learn from watching your documentary? So what was your initial idea?
I just wanted to show people like what they do there at Ashokap, what the facilities are like, and what the education is like there, how students go there, and there's a lot of different like age groups that go there.
Interesting. What will I learn from watching the documentary? Or will I be inspired for action if I watch your documentary?
I think so, because it's nothing like anything else in the world. It's like the biggest place.
It is a world-class facility, isn't it?
So when you see what it's like, and when you're in there and you see the point of view from a student, I think that you'll learn, like, be more interested in it and might want to research it more.
My daughter really wants to do some horseback riding and learn exactly what you're talking about is horse culture. So maybe I'll take her to Ashokap. Maybe your documentary will inspire me to get her in there. Thanks for sharing that. I'll come back to you with a question if you want to think about the question before I come back to you. But the question I want you to answer is, how has participating in Ashokap programs over the course of 5 years, you said, how is that going to play a role in your future self? Okay. Yanis Kalach. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
You titled your documentary Land. One word, land.
Yes.
What inspired you to go on this learning journey?
On the learning journey. What do you mean by that?
Well, your teacher said, here's an assignment. What part of that assignment did you connect with that excited you before, you even came up with your ideas? How did you feel about the initial assignment put in front of you?
So, immediately, as soon as I heard about the assignment, I was extremely excited because I thought that was very unique and like not something like we've done before. And I always, whenever there's an assignment, I have like really big plans. So whenever I get like an assignment like this, I don't want to like have too big plans for myself to the point where I can't complete it. But for this, I was like so excited. So I thought about, I immediately like always think about ideas that I could do for this, like before the assignment even comes. And then they change with like the conditions that, like for example, the things that the documentary has to have in it, like 3, 4, 5 interviews like that. Or then my ideas change and like, so
it kind of develops over time. You come up with an initial idea, but then as you go through the journey, more things are laid
like,
on top.
The idea that I had originally is like very different to what I have now. Like a lot of the filming things, like in the storyboard that I drew, you'll see if you ever see about, you would see that a lot of the filming, like things that I wanted to film, are not like they're there. They're similar, but not like they're in my documentary now because of like I couldn't film them because I couldn't find the right place to film. I couldn't find the right people that would film it with me.
Some challenges.
Yeah.
I love assignments that take students through a journey. All right, so you went through a bunch of challenges. You had an idea that changed over time as you went on the journey. What's the end result? How did your film turn out, and what is the theme of the film?
So I'm really happy how the film turned out. I like how the theme isn't exactly like I imagined it before. It doesn't directly connect to it. Kind of changed, but to the point where it still connects to the original theme. So the original theme is migration and poverty. And so what I tried to achieve with that was just to show why different people come to Qatar.
Interesting.
Why do they need to come to Qatar, and do they do it because of choice or because they have to? And you'll see in the documentary when you watch it. And
Did you link it to a sustainable developmental goal?
Yes. So I linked it to, that was the sustainability and development goal from the UN. And that was also part of the assignment. So there were like 3 different ones. It was migration and poverty, and then economy was the one that I tried kind of like added onto the theme, where I kind of changed it and it kind of drifted more to an economical aspect.
Interesting. So what's your take now that you went on this learning journey? How did you come up with the title Land?
So it's like it's actually really far-fetched, but the original idea from the documentary came like one day I was talking like to one of the persons that I interviewed, and they were like telling me about their past. So then I was like, when this assignment came, I realized that I wanted to do a documentary about it. And she told me about like how she's like buying land in the Philippines now, and how it's really expensive. And we're talking about how currency from other countries can buy different things. Like people from America, they kind of convert their currency, like dollars, into the Filipino currency, and then they can buy so much more land.
Absolutely.
And for the Filipinos, it's so expensive because they don't earn that much.
I remember, I'm just connecting to what you're saying. I remember walking through the London Heathrow airport many, many years ago. And as we walked down this corridor, it had blocks of their wall were painted. And they painted, what can you own for $1 million? And they showed, beachfront property in Thailand, and that could be yours. And then they showed, a large home somewhere in North America. That can be what you own. And then they showed a garage in the UK, in London. And this is what you can own in London, like so little. So they kind of showed how far you can go with your money.
Yeah,
so very interesting.
So land is something like you buy it. You don't buy. The house is usually, like houses aren't usually, it doesn't differ that much in different countries. Like to buy a house, like the materials are there in every country. Most countries have things like mountains where the company harvests the materials, but the land, like that's actually there, that you purchase, the value for that differs a lot in different countries.
Land value, absolutely. Thank you for that. Hassan, old versus new education. I left you with a thought.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what the question was, but what are your thoughts?
I know that a lot of people that are graduating soon this year from friends online and my uncle, and I know like I need to try as hard as possible to try my hard, try to do some good work, because it's very important to know what you're gonna be in the future, or what you're gonna be your future job, and what's gonna be the biggest challenge you face soon when I'm graduating or through school from now until grade 12. And there are like a lot of challenges, and you need to know more about what's gonna be coming through your way, so you can prepare for it. So
absolutely, there's a lot of pressure on your generation, isn't there? Yeah, absolutely. Just a minute or so left. Liz, did you have any comments to end our podcast? I left you with a thought as well.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing horse riding as a career in the future, but it's always like a choice that I can do if something goes wrong. It's always, I have that path to go.
Have you learned any skills that are going to transfer into other things you might do in the future?
Not really. No.
Not really. Excellent. Boys, thank you so much. I want you to know that your teacher is super proud of the learning journey you went on and the end result. She's very excited to share the documentary films that you created. And I wanted to give a shout out to Qatar Foundation International and their SIMA films, because those films, I believe, are what Miss Melissa used to inspire you and to teach you through their impact films, so that you can also make impact films. So shout out to them. And I believe you also use, what was the other? Global Oneness? Yeah, Global Oneness was also a platform with lots of documentaries that you viewed. Absolutely. So great work. Excited to see your docu-films, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.